Hey everyone, Darin Kidd here. Listen, I am excited to share with you. I'm not sure when I went live, but let me try it again. Hey everybody, Darin Kidd here, just in case you didn't get it the first time. I'm excited to share some information with you that was a pivotal point in my business and in my career. And I want to share some of those lessons with you in the next few minutes. And as you're coming online, please let me know where you're watching from, what city, state, province in Canada, what country. Always good to go back and interact with you and find out where our audience is watching from. And then also a quick announcement. If you ever get frustrated with to prospect, trying to recruit, or trying to team build, I am doing a free training. It's an hour training, August 1st. And if you're watching this after the fact, you still can go to this link and I will let you know the next time I do a training, but it's recruitlikeapro.com. So maybe one of you can put that in the comments. I appreciate that. Hey, I hope I'm saying this right. Mormo in Missouri, Hattie in British Columbia, welcome. So recruitlikeapro.com and you can get registered for free. I'm doing it at 2 different times. Pick which one. We're already triple what we did the last training. So make sure you get that done right away. And also, if you have a team, make sure they know about it as well, because if you want me to help you and your team recruit more, grow faster, this is definitely the training for you. All right, let's get right into the training that I want to talk to you about. What I learned from someone who's now made over $20 million just in network marketing. That's not counting their investments, because they actually make more per year now with their money that they made from network marketing and investments than they do their actual income. And here's what happened. Years ago, when I was just getting started in the industry, I would go to this guy's house, and he was married. They had a little baby, and they normally stay up pretty late, so they would get started around 9 o'clock in the morning. And what would happen was he would go into his office, and I would hear him sit down, just move around a few papers, and the next thing you know, boom, I'd hear him on the phone. Or I'd hear him do an email, because back then, 20 years ago, whatever it was, we didn't have any social media like we have right now. And so what would happen, I remember walking into his office and I said, hey, look, man, let's go to Chick-fil-A, get something to eat. Then let's go to Starbucks, get a cup of coffee. Then let's come back here and let's go crush the day. And he goes, nope, get out of my office. There's food and coffee in the kitchen. Go make 5 phone calls while you're making the food and the coffee. And I remember going, man, who does he think he is? And it ruffled my feathers. It rubbed me the wrong way, which now I've learned that most of the time, if it rubs me the wrong way, it's meant for me, right? So, and we need people in our life that tell us what we need to hear, not what we want to hear. And so I went back into the room. I came back into his office, true story. I said, hey, where's your paper shredder? And he's like, get out of my office and go make 5 phone calls. That's not profit-producing activity. You can do that after profit-producing activity time. And so I walked back in the other room. And again, at that time, really, you made phone calls. And I remember going, man, the phone felt like it weighed 100 pounds. Do you ever have that happen? Like you just feel like you're not ready to work. You need to be a little more prepared, a little more organized. We're procrastinating, right? Procrastinators unite tomorrow, right? That's the way we are. And so I remember going, man, the phone feels like it weighs so much, like 100 pounds. And so I picked up the phone and I asked him, who do you want me to, well, let me back up. I walked back into his office and I said, man, I'm overwhelmed. Like, you've got a big team. I've got a small team. Like, who do I call? He's like, I don't care if you call out of the phone book. I don't care if you make up numbers. Go make 5 phone calls now. That was $1 million tip for me. Because when I went back in that room and I picked up that first phone, and it felt like it weighed 100 pounds, and I made the first call, then the second, by the 5th phone call, I was pacing back and forth. I had lots of energy, right? My whole being changed. So I was excited. I was motivated. And that's $1 million tip in itself. Successful people and unsuccessful people, one of the differences is they don't wait till they feel like it. They immediately get into action because they have a goal, they have a vision of where they're going, and if you only wait till you feel like it, if you're like me and most people, almost every human being, you're never going to feel like it. That's why Emerson said, do the thing and you'll have the power. He didn't say wait for the power, then go do the thing. Psychologists have proven it's easier to act our way into a feeling than feel our way into acting. So act the way you want to feel, soon you'll feel the way you act. Motion creates emotion. So by that fifth call, we both started in the company that same exact time. 3 years later, with the things I'm teaching you, I was making at that time, many years ago, $100,000 a year. He was making 1.7 million because the little differences when you start hanging out with successful people, you in our mind we think that they're so much better than the rest of us, and we can never do what they do. But then you find out we can do everything that they do. They just do little teeny things. They're persistent, they're consistent, and they keep a good attitude. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you as you're watching live or on replay. And so that was one major tip. Another thing that I learned was making the use out of every single minute. Every minute in your day is gold. If you look at Mark Zuckerberg that owns Facebook, if you started Facebook, if you look at Bill Gates with Microsoft, if you look at Jeff Bezos with Amazon, what's fascinating, they all have the same 24 hours that we do. We all have the same suitcase. It's just a matter of what we put in that suitcase. They pack more in that suitcase every day than most people. So I remember when I used to work with him, and I would say, man, let's go get some lunch, right? Because I wanted a change of scenery. And he would say, well, if we go to lunch, we're going to alternate making phone calls on the way. And then we're going to take some third-party tools with us. So back that time, we had these magazines, and we had them labeled. And so I remember going to that sandwich shop, making the use out of every single minute on the way, grabbing something to eat, meeting people while we were out, and making use of every single minute on the way back. So making every minute gold. There are full-time people in network marketing that shouldn't be full-time because they're part-time people, by the way, that outproduce a lot of full-time people, because a lot of full-time people in network marketing, they say they're full-time because they either quit their job too soon or they can't find a job. It doesn't mean that they do full-time activities. But then you take a person that's part-time, and by the way, don't quit your job too soon. It's one of the worst things you could ever do. Jim Rohn talks about how, the power of the part-time story. If you go, hey, I'm making $500 a month in my network marketing business, that's not nearly as powerful if you say you're doing it full-time. But if you're part-time, I made an extra $500 with what I'm doing. That's a powerful story. And $500 a month would change most people's lives. Yeah, just $500 a month. So don't quit your job too soon. And then people that are part-time, let's say they have 10 hours a week, they make use of every single minute. Every minute is gold, and they outproduce full-time people because they have the right mindset, right? Treating every minute extremely serious. So that was another thing that I learned from him. Here's another tip. We both got started at the same time. How is his income 17 times bigger than my income 3 years later? Here was another thing that he did. When we get excited and we go into building mode, we call it phase one. We get customers and we get customer getters. And most people, their tendency is they will stop doing what they did that got them where they are. They stop doing what they did that got them where they are. So in that company, they have what they call a fast start bonus. You go recruit 3 people and you got a bonus. Every month, he would act like he was a brand new person. He actually treated his business like a minimum wage job. If you have a minimum wage job, you have to be there on time. They tell you when you get break, when you get lunch, you're working those hours. Well, that's what he did. He treated it like a job every single day. And he would every month pretend like he was brand new and needed to go out and fast start qualify. So instead of just creating one organization like I did, he had like 17 mini organizations. I was making $100,000 a year. He was making 1.7 million. And we both started at the exact same time. So resist the urge to go from building to management. Like you go get your 3 people, that's what I would do. I get 3. Okay, now you need to work harder because I need a rank advance. and then you go from building to recruiting, and then eventually you go into survival. That's not the way you go build a massive business. You stay in phase one. Getting customers and getting customer getters. You don't get off the elevator. An elevator has boring music. You stay on the elevator and you continue to do those same things. Be persistent, be consistent until they compound over a period of time. So these are a few things that I learned from him. Don't wait till you feel like you're ready. when you're ready to go into business mode, I didn't feel like doing this live right now. I'm like, I don't feel like setting up, and we had issues with the camera, we had issues with the internet, we had issues. I didn't feel like this. I did this live. I did one on my Facebook business page, right? I did one in a private group that I have. This is my third live. I didn't feel like it. I didn't have the energy. But as soon as I started doing it, guess what? Motion creates emotion. Don't wait till you feel like you're ready, because successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. And that's one thing here. They don't wait until they feel like they're motivated. They do it anyway, knowing that they have an end goal. They have a vision of where they're going, and no one's going to stop them. And so that was one thing. Then successful people, they just do a little bit more. It's not a lot more, but it's these little teeny things that compound over a period of time. And then do not get into management mode. Do not stay in phase one. Is that making sense? So if you're liking just this little bit of training that I'm giving you, once again, make sure you go to Recruit Like a Pro. RecruitLikeAPro.com. Get registered for my free training coming up, right? There's 2 different times we're going to fill up. And if you want to know how I went from failing for 7 years, saying I'll never do it again, saying I don't even want to speak the words network marketing, to personally recruiting over 1,000 people and building massive teams, right? Been in network marketing since 1991. So if you don't want to have to go all those years trying to figure out what to do right, get on that training. And then if you want me to motivate, inspire, educate, and train your organization, get them on that. Get them registered. It is completely free, right? I'm going to give you a lot of value. Look how much value I've given you just based off the comments, right? Didn't like it, loved it, bro. Keep going. Thank you so much. Tom, great info. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. Thank you, Sean. Mormo, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I apologize if I'm not. Keep jumping on. I will make sure I get it right. But, if a little bit of value you got right now, can you imagine what you're going to get in an hour? Okay, coming up on this training, recruitlikeapro.com. Thanks again for joining. Have an awesome rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next training, hopefully Thursday, August 1st.